We all welcome you to your panel, focus on sport, XR solution, or better, the challenges to implement a sports studio into what we call broadcast environment. We have special guests here, all of them experts in one or the other expertise. So from the left to the right, it's your left, right? We have Patrick. Patrick will tell us something about what's going on with XR and sport in France. We're not sure what happened there because it's out of our focus. We have John Murphy from BBC Sport in Manchester. And the North are the nice people.
North, yes.
Yeah. So I have no idea. Will Ruffin is not from the North. He's from South.
No, we're in the sunny south of England in Wimbledon.
So that means John is politer than you. It's very easy and
friendlier.
And we have Moritz to bring some structure into our discussion from Germany, Quest, and we all welcome you. The idea of this panel is not to have an endless talk. It's more that we talk with each other with the perspective of bringing some knowledge to our audience. What are the challenges of implementing XR? As we all know, broadcasters are focused on safety, and of course there are some challenges. Before we start this discussion, I would like you to introduce yourself with what you are doing right now and what is related to our panel today. Patrick, would you start just to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Patrick Jean. I spent like 30 years at Eurosport as Director of Innovation and Post-Production. And I created the Cube that is still running with some guys around. And
a bit closer with the microphone.
Yeah, sorry. And today I run my own company called Youth as a consultant in innovation. So I'm teaching also innovation in school, and I'm working also with XR Studio to help them choose the good tools like Roe, and also to work the correct way to achieve good results.
Very cool. So we're coming back to France later, but John is the one and only who is now in XR now. He still was green.
Yes.
But green could be also a solution. Yes. John, tell us something about the status quo of BBC Sport and XR.
So my name's John Murphy. I'm creative director at BBC Sport. So effectively, we haven't worked with LED as such yet. Hopefully going to be working on something soon, but we've been working with obviously VR and AR for many years now, probably pretty much since the gaming engine technology came into broadcast really. A lot of green screen studios, a lot of AR, obviously working with various partners, suppliers, and my role is it's the creative, but it's also kind of helping to manage those projects really, and the overall look and feel of the studios.
So you are focused on sport. There is
very much sport,
Nick Davey in London who's overlooking the new stuff. So what we are focused on sport today. Moritz, what are you up to? What is Quest doing in this field of new studios, sports studios, XR?
My name is Moritz Hemchen. I'm principal at Quest. We are a solution and ICT provider. We are delivering the whole media supply chain, I would say, from the production side. No, we're not producing themselves, but the technology we're delivering, integrating for our customer up to the, would say, OTT platform to the end customer. That's all the whole chain will be delivered by us. Also in studios in Germany, in Europe, and also sometimes in the US and in Dubai, and I would say worldwide.
So Quest is a worldwide organization, 3,000 people, right?
Quest is now over 1,500 people and growing, still growing, and is one of the largest system integrator in the media branch.
Okay. The background is TV and...
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
It sounds a bit German.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of structure, and but maybe we come back later.
Yeah.
A more creative history is with White Light, I guess. So you guys coming from the stage business or light business, or how is the background of White Light then?
How did we end up on the row stand? It's we.
Thank you very much.
We started with the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Just to jump to the left.
Supplying lighting 50 years ago. But working with Eurosport, and we've developed a number of XR solutions, our smart stage presentation service, but also a lot of bespoke LED studios, LED automation, and sort of XR and rendering systems. So I work in the system design team. I've recently designed studios for most of the UK broadcasters and some European. And just generally an evangelist for XR. I do some workshops as well, and I know we do a lot of work together with Roe on especially on development.
I paid him. It was expensive, so we agreed on 100 times mentioning Roe. So what I want to point out, you are the solution architect of the recent. Online FNN studio for Sky. Could you tell us something about your experience by creating it and launching it? Maybe.
Well, I think it'd be hard to take all the credit for that. They're very, very self-sufficient client, but yeah, we work closely with the designers to make sure that they got the LED product they want in the configuration. Also building in the infrastructure behind it, making sure that they had the right processing solutions. We did a consultancy piece with them and talked about engines, tracking, market intelligence, what's available, and I'm sure we'll all get into those various things because covering those particular subjects, they're pretty much the challenges that we're all facing in taking XR to broadcast.
So we're coming back later to what, in your idea, is the advantage of creating a studio based on LEDs and immersion. But maybe we ask somebody who is planning that in the future. What on earth? What on earth? Why don't you stick to your green key?
I mean, as I say, we've been working with green screen for many years, and we still will. I mean, I think anyone who kind of virtual studios and virtual production now, it's obviously it's changed a lot over recent years. But I think there's, at the end of the day, one big headache is still green screen. Really, I mean, it's not the most ideal scenario to work in. But
why is it not ideal? Because
well, it's just things like you've got obviously rules for the talent, what they can wear. Your soft lighting against hard lighting. It's kind of it's the keying has improved massively over the recent years. We know that, but I mean, still kind of probably not there. Still not as good as it could be. So but we've got no problem working with it at all. And as I say, we love it because we keep on doing virtual studios in terms of the actual creative you get out of it, but the actual working with it is not as fun. But then, the LED XR, everything else. Obviously, we've been looking at it and wanting to kind of get in that area more going forward. If we can make it happen. But various things about it depends on where it's. We do major events, as we do, whether it's Euros, World Cups, Wimbledon's, kind of all of that. It depends on where we're going to be and just what that creative drive is, and they're the decisions that we make at the time, what we're going to use, whether it's green screen, whether it's LED, whether it's just traditional set design.
Okay, let's say you are not afraid of using XR.
No.
So there is no obstacle anymore. You believe this is the right way to go?
Hopefully.
This is the British answer. Patrick, can you tell us something about your past and how you used XR for your project?
First time it was for the Olympics, for youth sports. And the main idea behind the cube was really to immerse anybody coming. I mean, any athletes coming from with their medals, and we cannot schedule it because sometimes it was a famous guy, and sometimes it was not nobody, but somebody that was not expected to win. And we wanted really to have all these people confident to express themselves, to have emotions in front of the pictures. And the correct way to do it was not green screen, it was LED, because you can point out on the things that you saw on the LED walls. It was the main idea behind the first cube, and it worked because we also educate all the people involved to work with this kind of tools, this kind of new tools. And it was a new way to work because you have to schedule everything and really organize all the things that you will play with inside the XR studio. This is the key things.
Moritz, we think that all this creativity with XR are triggered by the big Hollywood movies, by the Mandalorians, and broadcast wants a bit of Hollywood being immersed in the new studio, sports studio. We thought, that is one trigger. And we have companies like Lux Machina, White Light, and Annavelli who are creative, integrating those stuff. Quest comes from the totally different side. So not the German side, but the integration side, the workflow side. How important is the back end of XR? And when it comes to new standards like SMTP, so are there any obstacles you see?
Yeah, the back end is the most important thing here. Yeah, because what you have to respect is latency. Yeah, and if there's something which is not working because of latency, yeah, for all the customers or viewers, it will be very irritating to watch this. And also, what you what you need to have in mind is all the compute power you need for it. So you need a very good infrastructure, and you need also the resources, the human resources to handle it. To be honest, that's by now it's very important. And also if you think about all the other technical things, like also the LED walls, they should be in a very good quality, a very good refresh time, and so on. So it is.
They are.
Yeah, they are here they are. But that is. That everybody should keep in mind now when they will integrating or implementing it in their studios. Don't save the money at the wrong point. Just spend. You have to spend the money, but at the end, it will be a fantastic solution, and it will reduce your headaches.
So now our clients are afraid. so now they think it's we can't do it. So can we do it? I know broadcasters are looking for safety. So you are addressing the safety aspect, or?
Yes, all broadcasters can do this, but we are at Quest. We are thinking like we need to understand what the customers are willing to do and how do they feel, getting under their skin and say, okay, what to get this that they are afraid away from them. So when you integrate it, you get the opportunity to give all your customers, your end customers, your viewers, in a fantastic television program, broadcasting, even in sports, with all the information, the emotion coming to them, it is really, really amazing, So
you think the combination of the data stream, clouding, streaming, and everything else with the powerful XR Studio could be a future, and your message is also don't be afraid.
Yes. Definitely, don't be afraid, okay. But keep it in mind. Don't underestimate it.
Just call Quest and they do it.
Indeed.
Will, can you tell us something about your experience of what was? Were there any concerns, or what was the challenge to explain it? Because as we as we discussed in our previous meeting, that they are not trained. Our clients have not enough knowledge, they have not time enough to dive deep into it. It's your role as integrators to explain how it works. And I think John can is a testimony for that. He's doing a lot by himself. So how you address that, how you train or inform your clients?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing you have to have is a degree of honesty with your clients about what the journey is going to look like, whether the timescales are realistic. I think you've got to have a detailed conversation about what their current workflow is and how it can be adapted. You know, their current workflow might, for instance, not use the best engine for their desired end result, but there needs to be a transition. They've got a creative pipeline, and the best result for them is maybe using the creative pipeline that they have in place. So it's about working with the client to try and create that, providing training, working with manufacturers to provide training, and also working with third-party studios, which I know you do at the BBC, and working with content partners to make sure that there's that framework there of content creators, the end client, the directors, and the integrator offering support, hardware support, software support on the LED processing and tracking side. All those things have got to consider, and that's got to be a process you go through with a client, and that has to be an honest conversation, not really a sales pitch.
I think that's a really good point. Just quickly on that is that I think one of the big things is just, as you say, being honest, is that, you know, virtual production, whether it's XR, green screen, LED or anything like that, you know, the technology's there. It's not easy. You know, it's not. I think there's a misconception sometimes. Oh, you've got a green studio. You can. Oh, we can. You can. You know, it's still a long process. It's to get it right. It's a long process, and you have to have the right people in place. You know, and everything else. So yeah, definitely that's a big lesson I've learned.
Was it ever easy? You know, to implement a green key studio was difficult enough. You know?
But I suppose what I'm saying is, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, obviously traditional sets. You know, you build a set, you get in, you're kind of there, you got your, and so, you know, I think, but with the creativity of virtual and everything else, everyone's like, oh, you know, you can be anywhere, you can do that, but to get to that point, to get to that, it's a harder, great result at the end of it, but a harder journey.
You want to add something?
Yeah. The cool thing is that you can do a lot of things. But it's also the biggest drawback, because you have to limit the people to say, okay, we have this scenario, we have that time to do it, and we need to output something. And at the end, if it's live, you know the limitation of the preparation, and you know what you can do and what you cannot do. And at the end, it's always the storytelling. It's, I want to tell this story, and how can I do it, and the simplest way to do it at the end.
Will, can you tell us about digital first? What pops up in your mind?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you know, if you've been on any panels this week, it's something that people have been talking about, and I think it's certainly what a lot of our clients are asking us to consider. Certainly with designing studios, they want to be able to create content in a number of aspect ratios at once. You know, there is content which is going straight out on social media on a 9:16. There's 4:5 ratios, and when you think about producing your content, you need to be producing all of that at pace, because your revenue or your exposure may not be coming from that amazing traditional program. It's going to be the social, it's going to be that key moment that's shared on socials and goes viral, that is directing people back to your pay-per-view service, or if you're a national broadcaster through iPlayer, or so I think, I mean, I know certainly we've done recently a lot of work on having things like movable totems in that aspect, to be able to produce content easily for socials in a configurable way, and idents, and
I think we're starting to get to a state where we can design these studios to be really versatile. There is, several broadcasters that we work with are actually going through a range of XR options, and I know we can probably talk about definition of XR, but the sort of set box with a floor, but then there's the hybrid options where you're adding in an AR set extension, and then you've got just a hard LED set, but with augmented reality in front. And we have that option now to go on a journey with a broadcaster where they start with a set with some LED in. They're going to add some front plate AR by adding tracking to their cameras, and then they're going to go into real-time engines for their set extension and full immersions after that. So I think that there is a route to entry now which isn't going in at deep end. And I don't know what your perspective on that. I think it would be quite interesting to see. And obviously the Eurosport perspective, because they did go straight in to that workflow of a full XR environment, all have advantages and disadvantages. But something that we can consider now.
Not going into the detail on that too much, but just a comment I would make is that obviously our studio director's here with us for Match of the Day, and we were walking around earlier, and I said, it was here when we first saw the VR studio with the gaming engine, with the integration of Unreal. Yeah. And it's coming back to me, it was your fault then. I think that's the other thing, isn't it? It's about kind of, it's bringing the production on the journey with you as well, because obviously we can sit there and have all the kind of creative, we can do this and we do that, but at the end of the day, the program, it's a sports program, it's about the editorial, it's about the kind of, the analysis and everything else, and that is still the main focus. What we paint around it is
there are some exceptions. For example, BBC is well known for crowning people. No, you are heading into the next year with Euro, and you may plan a set using virtual technology. Would you be afraid of using it in a live event situation?
No, definitely not afraid. As I say, I know it's not specifically LED we've used before, but we've done green screen, hybrid, everything else on live locations with, as with the federations. Just sometime when you only get the studio space, a week to 10 days if you're lucky beforehand. So we wouldn't be afraid, but it's still that whole thing around the kind of the testing and everything else before, if you go into an actual location to do it. It's that whole testing process has got to be in place beforehand. But yeah, no, definitely not afraid. We're happy to try all sorts.
So it's a part where I start asking about the future. Moritz, what do you see, Quest? Where do you see the XR technology in 5 years?
It will be the leading technology for all who will survive here in this broadcast world. Yeah, it is like that. Yeah, because the audience is when they see the first time this opportunities there, then they are expecting from everybody to use it. Yeah? To be very clear, and also to monetize it. For all broadcasters, it is important. Yeah, I agree. Testing is important. Yes, testing is
really important.
Really important. But in 5 years, I think we will know. Don't have so much more green wall studios anymore. I think there'll be more. Yeah, XR technology in it.
What would you say? Where is France today, and where is it in 5 years regarding XR production?
In 5 years, more and more editorial scenario around data, and more storytelling based on this pretty cool tool, because XR. I like the cooking image. It's like when you are cooking, you need to use the correct tool and to use the correct products. And XR is the same. If you have the correct guys with the correct technology, because it's real time, and if you use if you put some real time things together, sometimes it's not real time anymore. So you have to choose the correct product, and for that, Rowe is one of them. But for the future, it's already a new tool, and to tell more story and to have more cool story to tell to the people.
What about the Olympics next year? Could that be a trigger for using XR?
Yeah, for sure. And Discovery proved it for years now, because the CubeSync it's still running on the channel with more sports involved, and it's really a way to show the sport differently, and also to explain what it's happening for the athletes and for the competition.